adding a disclaimer to your photo in United Imaging. If I want to add a disclaimer on a photo that a patient wants to take home with them, what I need to do is I need to go to the File Explorer, go to the C drive, and find my Uniplast folder. Double-click that, scroll down, usually near the bottom is where the file is that you want. You want the uni.ini. When I open up the uni.ini, there is a line that is named disclaimer, and it will have nothing there. This is the disclaimer that I've typed in on mine. So if you want to put in your disclaimer, you put in disclaimer equals, and then you can just type in anything that you want it to say. This one says video image results are not a guarantee of outcomes. It's always good to let them understand that the software is an illustration. It's a projection of the outcome based on a lot of experience, but it's an illustration. So type in your disclaimer, however you want it to say, and then it will ask you if you want to save changes to the uni.ini, and make sure that you have changed nothing else except that, and you can click Save. Now it has saved our disclaimer in the software. So let's open up the software now. And open up a patient. Oh, I'm going to look for... Okay. So here is my patient, and here is the photo that my patient wants me to print. So I'm going to open up the original right next to it, and this is what they're looking at. Oh gosh, that looks great. I'd like you to print that so I could take it home and show it to my husband. So now that I have the disclaimer in the system, I have highlighted my picture on the right where I want the disclaimer to go. I'm going to go to the Annotate drop down and choose Disclaimer. Okay, here's our disclaimer up here. It's too big. It's run off the screen. So it's highlighted, and I can tell because it has the little white boxes around it. I'm going to hit the delete button and go back to Annotate, and I'm going to choose Label. Now here is where we can control the size of the type of that annotation. It's a little bit big, so I'm going to change my point size from 19 to, let's see what 15 looks like. I'll hit OK. Now let's go back to the disclaimer. Oh, and it fits there nicely. You have the ability to move that disclaimer. You can see when I'm going over the top of it, it gives me the mover. So I can move this down to the bottom. If I like it down on the bottom, I can grab one of those little white boxes and pull it over and make it on 2 lines. If I liked the big type, I could have left the type big and pulled it this way down and over to put it on more than 1 line. So you have the ability to control those sorts of things. So when I'm happy with where it is, I can go back to the Annotate drop down and choose to Make Permanent. Now, before you agree that you want to make this permanent on your picture, understand that this will always be on the imaged picture. Generally speaking, that's okay because it's an imaging. So you could click OK when it asks you if you want to paint the annotations permanently on the image. So now this is painted permanently. Now when I go to close the picture, it will ask me if I want to save this modification to our patient chart. Save modified file to disk before closing. If you want to print the picture for your patient to take with them, you need to click Yes. And when you do that, and you can see this is painted permanently on this picture. So when I choose to print this for my patient. It's on there as my disclaimer. So when I send this to the printer, I'll have my before right next to my after with my disclaimer on it.